If you could have any superpower in the world, which one would you choose? I've always thought that being able to read people's thoughts would be awesome. Not just to know what people are thinking about me, but because your thoughts create your actions, which create your reality. So I'd want to know how successful people think differently to be able to create their successes for myself. Now, we don't live in the Avengers world, so I don't have that superpower. But we have the next best thing. We can look at people's actions to reverse engineer how they think. And even more importantly, the thoughts that they never think. Now, we're not gonna go over the cliches you've heard before, like don't accept failure or think positive thoughts. I'm gonna focus on thoughts that you might be so used to thinking, you don't even realize that they're there. Or you might not even be aware that they're holding you back. This first thought is one I see a lot, no matter the actual age of the person or their business stage. And it's harmful because it can cause you to give up before you reach your success. The thought is, it's too late, because they think they're too old or too behind to reach their goals. A famous example of why successful entrepreneurs don't let themselves think this way is Colonel Sanders. He was in his 60s already when, after having run a restaurant for several years, he retired penniless. He said, "I was 66 years old. I still had to make a living. I looked at my social security check of $105 and decided to use that to try and franchise my chicken recipe." So he traveled from restaurant to restaurant trying to sell his recipe. He was turned down 1,009 times before his recipe was accepted once. And he was 75 by the time he had 600 franchises selling his trademarked chicken. All because he refused to think it's too late. When we think that, we're giving ourselves an excuse for why we can't achieve our dreams. The reality, though, is that success has no deadline. Successful entrepreneurs know that. In fact, it's one of the reasons they're so successful. This next one can be a tough thought to let go, because unfortunately, life isn't fair. And I'm sure we can all think of someone who seems luckier or had a better starting point or more advantages. But focusing on what you don't have isn't how you change it, which is why successful entrepreneurs never think in terms of "I deserve." They take what they're given, no matter how good or bad it is, and they run with it. John Paul DeJoria, the co-founder of John Paul Mitchell Systems, is an extreme example of this. He was raised by a single mother and then went to a foster home when she couldn't care for him anymore. In his 20s, he was sometimes homeless and living out of his car. But he did not let that get him down. He did whatever he needed to make money. He sold Christmas cards to pay for college, he sold encyclopedias, and he used what he had. He got jobs at hair care companies where he learned about the industry. Then, after he developed his own product, all he and his partner had to start with was $700. So they made it work. He used word of mouth and kept at it until they got their first distributor. He is now a billionaire, by the way. When we think in terms of what we deserve and what we don't have, we're wasting time and energy on things that we can't change. And successful entrepreneurs know that those are our most valuable resources. This third thought is what separates the great entrepreneurs from the okay ones. And it's a hard one to break free from because we're kind of programmed to measure ourselves in this way. But if you want real success, you've got to. And that thought is, what is my competitor doing? Because when you're focused on your competitors, you're basically placing them on a pedestal. And when you do that, you're always going to be focused on them and chasing their success, which means that you'll never exceed them. So what can you focus on instead? Well, you can focus on your customers. Let's play Can You Guess Who Said This? If we can keep our competitors focused on us while we stay focused on our customer, ultimately, will turn out all right. If you said Jeff Bezos, you would be right. You can also focus on your employees or future employees. Zappos is famous for doing this. Tony Hsieh, the late founder of Zappos, literally wrote a book on making happiness your business model. Because the happier your employees are, the more they'll pass on that happiness to your customers. And the happier your customers, well, the more successful your business will be. Or you can focus on yourself. All right, one more time. Let's play Can You Guess Who Said This? Remembering that you're going to die is the best way I know of thinking that you have something to lose. You are already naked. There's no reason not to follow your heart. That is classic Steve Jobs. This last one is for you. If you've wondered why something seems so hard or why it seems like you have to work harder than everyone else, we've all been there. Asking ourselves, why can't it be easier? Michael Jordan's a full-on businessman now, but let's not forget that he is also one of the best basketball players of all time. His attitude about basketball is the same reason why he's now so successful in business. By his own count, he missed more than 9,000 shots in his career. He lost almost 300 games. 26 times he was trusted to take the game-winning shot, and he missed. He didn't ask why he couldn't be naturally better or why he didn't have it easier. Instead, this quote tells you everything about his attitude. Obstacles don't have to stop you. If you run into a wall, don't turn around and give up. Figure out how to climb it, go through it, or work around it. Successful entrepreneurs embrace the hard work because they know that's what it takes. Okay, if I'm being really honest, I just want to know what others are thinking so that I can go back in time and tell if the guys I liked me back. If you haven't watched my video on the 4 rules of money that all successful entrepreneurs know, go ahead and watch that now. You are gonna love that video and I will see you over there.